Hi, my name is Theresa Molloy, President of the NIRI New York Chapter, and welcome to NIRI Headliners in partnership with Business Wire. I recently had an opportunity to talk to Nick Rolli, who is Vice President of Investor Relations and Financial Communications at Philip Morris International. Nick and I talked about his illustrious career in investor relations and about his leadership in IR in the U.S. as well as globally. Stay tuned to hear my conversation with Nick Rolli. Nick, thanks very much for joining us today. Always great to see you in New York.
Delighted to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
So you have been a leader in investor relations your entire career, starting off at Colgate, moving on to Altria, where you led the investor relations effort there, and then in 2008, another milestone where you oversaw the spin-off of Altria's business, Philip Morris International, and helped build out that investor relations team. And then another milestone when you moved to Lausanne, Switzerland with the PMI team and built that global investor relations practice. So through your entire career, you've always been adapting, very nimble, adapting to change, as well as leading through change. So talk a little bit about your successful career in IR and how have you built your IR practice?
I think the first thing is to be consistent in how you're leading the team and you're building the team, consistent in my message to investors and other stakeholders, and really consistent in how we deliver our expectations to internally and externally. So I think you have to be consistent throughout everything you do in IR. I think credibility and honesty are the things that your reputation is built on, and I think I prided myself and certainly our team on being credible, the good and the bad, messaging both internally and externally again. And I think those are the principles. But I also think collaboration, because in my case we're a global company, international, over 180 markets. We need to collaborate with many people to get information, to get the right information out to investors. And that takes some time. Obviously, in my career, I've been there a long time, so I know the ins and outs of the organization, but I think you need to be able to collaborate very effectively.
So that's a good point about collaboration and communicating. You have worked with a number of different CEOs and CFOs during your 30-year career, as well as you also have an opportunity once a year to talk to your board. So can you talk a little bit about how you've cultivated those relationships?
I think the key to managing relationships internally is not always easy, obviously, but I think the key is to make sure that you have a good informal and formal communication channel. But I think where we're located in Switzerland, we're all on the same floor, CEO, CFO, IR team. And we don't need PowerPoint, we don't need emails. We can get up and just walk in the office. We need to make sure they're informed. We rotate the C-suite executives, if you will, with investors, and I think we manage their time effectively. And I think the other thing is just to make sure that you don't overburden them, because you can kill them with information that may not be necessary. And I think you need to make sure that you know what's important, what's not important. And obviously, I report to the CFO. I'm traveling extensively with him, so we have a lot of time to talk about the program, where we're going, and getting feedback. So I think that's important.
Terrific. So you're in New York because your team has been nominated for 2 IR Magazine awards, one for Best Use of Technology, and the other one is for Consumer Staples, Best Consumer Staples Company. Talk a little bit about the team and the awards and what how you've built this practice.
Well, I'm very proud to be nominated for both of those awards. I think they validate what we've been doing for some time. The team is great. They've worked very hard. We've built it up, and particularly in 2015, we had a particularly strong year, I think, in terms of our metrics, number of meetings, touch points with investors, traveling to 14 cities and 12 countries around the world, building our continuing to increase our non-U.S. ownership. And obviously, with the technology is always a plus for a company that's not really had a lot of technology. Our website is very effective. It's the number 2 site at Philip Morris International, behind careers that people are actually accessing. So we think we're very proud of that. So and we're among some really good nominations in other great companies in those 2 categories.
Well, competition is tough, but we'll be rooting for you tomorrow night, Nick.
Good. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for joining us today. It was really a pleasure to see you once again here in New York. And on behalf of NIRI New York, this is Theresa Molloy signing off from NIRI Headliners. Thanks.